I'll first let our panelists introduce themselves. Paul, want to start?
Okay, sure. My name is Paul Smith. I've previously been up here as CEO of Mobile Trading Partners. We've rebranded this year as MTP. We're a full-service fintech provider to brokers and banks.
My name is Albina. I represent Tools for Brokers company. I'm working with that company for the last 6 years. In a position of operational officer for the last 5 years. And today I'm here to tell you how technology developed during all this time and how today it's not just one function that's making something very simple, but actually the tool that helps you on a daily basis.
Hi, it's Evgeny Sorokin here. I'm leading the research and development team at DevExperts. We are another fintech provider. We are specialists in platforms for brokerage houses and wealth management companies, as well as an authorized market data vendor for most of the exchanges in the world. And it's like last 8 years I spent in FX being in different technology companies and brokerage houses. So we will have a nice time talking about the technology issues for brokers. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Michael and I'm representing XOpenHub. XOpenHub is technology and liquidity provider. I'm with the company for around 10 years, first working in trading, later on managing the institutional operations, and I'm here to talk about our technology and the issues that may rise up during the latest changes on the markets.
So speaking of the latest changes in the markets, technology has become one of the key points that brokers need to address in terms of optimizing their costs now that their acquisition costs for clients are higher. And what do you think about this aspect of your business, and how do you plan to make it sustainable, basically?
Yeah, in my opinion, right now, nowadays, especially in the terms when the margins are falling for the brokers, the competition is rising, and in Europe, especially, we've got very fierce regulations. For sure, the brokers has to take care about the costs. Yeah, then the major question I think to be answered is whether you should develop the platforms in-house or just to let other guys do it for yourself. So in that case, I think you have to measure your needs and expectations, take care about, look for the costs. You have to optimize those costs. Look at your manpower, because recently I've seen many of the projects and then the startups rising up, creating some technology, and later on they've been vanished from the market within, 2, 3, 4 months, because the guys were not assessing their costs and they were overestimating their powers. So first you have to check the cost, later on your manpower, and then basically review the business plan and check whether there's some similar solution available on the market. Because right now in Europe, especially the IT costs are growing so high, the demand for the IT people is so huge that basically in many cases nowadays, taking into consideration rising costs and the competition is efficient to pass some IT to the companies that specialize in that. Yeah, so I think this is the main concern right now.
Okay, Albina, what do you think?
Yeah, I want to add that from my point of view, we need to change the perception of technology. It's not the cost, it's something that making you grow the revenue that you have. It's something that gives you more functions and more abilities to make your offer for your clients more attractive, to increase the volumes that you have, to compete better. So as we see, the technology is something that helps you not only the cost, but actually making your revenue much higher. And the human resources, I agree with you, because automation of some of the processes, we don't need that many people anymore, and we can put all the software to support the server and to do a lot of work automatically. The process that could take us weeks or days or many hours now can be done within 1-2 minutes.
Well, I support Alina. Being a high-end technology provider, we do not see ourselves as a cost center. We help our clients to unlock the potential, and the value is tremendous. So it's not about how cheap the technology is, it's about how much it can give to your bottom line.
And if I can just add, there's a danger in the commodification of technology. If everything's very cheap and we're saving money on it too much and just using the same thing as everything else, it cannot possibly provide a commercial edge. It may be necessary to have whatever it is, but in order to have a commercial edge as a business, you need to spend very wisely on the technology which will support your business.
So what do you think are the biggest pain points for the brokers in these days?
Well, speaking of our customers, what we hear from our customers is obviously the costs in their business are massively important to control, but the old question of how do we gain new customers, how do we retain them, how do we develop them, those are the areas which are constantly causing them problems. So we need to provide for them technology which will support that in their business alongside the basic business processes.
So we touched upon the sustainability of the industry, and this has been the main issue that ESMA took in order to regulate the industry. And it might happen in Asia someday. We don't know when, but it certainly will. So how do you guys think that technology can help to solve this biggest pain point for the brokers, that client profitability?
With all the changes, the biggest problem, as I see for brokers now, it's the amount of reports, not the reports themselves, but how often they change. And we don't need, with the technology, with all the data, it's easy to extract all the data and put that in the order. The problem is to read all these documents to understand what they actually want. And then when you provide this report, you can miss one point which is in the formula somewhere in between, and you need to update all that. So how we can help with that? It's of course with the technology that takes all the necessary data from the trading server and to put for all the instruments and from all the software, the measurements, how much time it takes from order on MT4 to the bridge, to the liquidity provider and back. What is the differences?
Okay, but how does this make clients more profitable and makes ultimately the brokerage business model sustainable?
Because one product is not only about one function to make the report. We have other functions about the speed of execution that the bridge can provide, or about how to work with the liquidity providers, or about other services, how to make it can go both ways. To make the product more attractive for the end clients and still to solve the problems with the daily brokers' problems that they have. It can go separately in parallel.
Paul?
Yeah, if I can, sorry, I got tongue-tied a moment ago. What we've noticed is the difference between the customers of ours which do well and the customers which do not do well. The customers who do well, the clients, the brokers who do well, are the ones who take care of the entire engagement of their customer relationship with them. And the biggest pain point, which we were talking about a moment ago, that customer engagement has to be addressed, because the industry cannot be sustainable if you're just churning through customers to traders. They come, they lose a little bit of money, then they go. This is not a sustainable business. So how do you develop your connection with those traders? That is the key, and our customers who are doing that well, they do well. There's high visibility. I mean, I'm not going to name names from the stage, but we speak about some of our clients who do a very, very good job of looking after the interests of their end users, their traders. And then we have other broker customers who just we'll do a bit of a bonus scheme, and a few people will come in, and we won't really spend very much on what is required behind that to educate them and develop them. And of course, they come and they go, and they don't do so well.
Michael, you're also a broker technically, so
yeah. So, but basically, I agree with my previous speakers. But the thing is that brokers have to think to remain, to be competitive. You have to have certain flexibility in terms of introducing new instruments to have the full path of conversion and the process of supporting the client, the platform, the technology should be flexible, because when the new reporting is coming into the place, or you would like to introduce new instrument, or there are certain requirements about the new reporting of those instruments, you have to have certain flexibility for still introducing the product to your clients, market the product well, and to report it. So I think that the biggest pain point is the lack of flexibility in many of the platforms available on the market, or the most popular platforms available on the market. And this is, I think, because some of the platforms are being outdated right now. So still the clients will look for some customized solution, which of course will require development, but the development should be done either internally or externally of the competition. The answer to that is the efficiency, whether we should outsource the process or not, yeah, or keep it in-house to remain, the knowledge in the company, or just to share with the others as well.
Evgeny, are you putting in some special efforts in helping brokers to optimize the user experience of their end client?
Oh yes, definitely, because we developed the tailored trading solutions. That's the onboarding KYC processes are a big part of it.
And where do you see automation in this? How does it help optimize the whole process? Like, how many things can a broker automate these days?
That's a great question. As a technologist, I believe that full automation is possible. And a good analogy would be self-driving cars. So the driver is still required at the moment, but the status quo will change. And pretty much all the aspects of the brokerage activities could be automated. If we are talking about trading, like my personal record was 99.6% of all the transactions were fully automated by the AI and the rule-based algos mixed together. And this went well, and the dealing desk has been operational like this for many, many months. The same applies to KYC onboarding processes. There is a great room for automation, and it's achievable. And the customer support, personally I'm bullish on voice assistants and chatbots, so it can be automated too.
Michael?
I think, starting from the lead scoring process, that we've got some machine learning system that helps us, for example, to score the leads, whether the lead is worth calling or not, whether the lead should be pitched with some automated, let's say, email sendings or some text message sending, till the next paths of acquiring the client to redemption of the client. Some AIs and machine learning systems still can help the brokers to assess whether the client is willing to send additional funds to the account, whether the activity of the client is falling, what, for example, instruments should be advertised to certain group of clients. So there are a lot of things to be done in terms of automation nowadays, especially with growing, AI system and machine learning systems. I think this is the next step. Whether it can be automated fully, I think, in 90% yes, but the strategy of how we should and when we should use those systems, for sure, should be, for the time being, left for humans. So I would say that marketing strategy will be still like human domain and field, but the work that was done previously by the people will be more and more automated, yes?
If I may add, if we try to be a bit more pragmatic and sound a bit less futuristic, these complicated automation projects with AI in place, they could be much more expensive for the many brokers out there, and it may be cheaper to keep your back office personnel on a payroll, your marketing department on a payroll, than to try to automate and support this automated system. However, this will change. Thanks.
There is a tendency across many industries, this is not unique, to search for something which will provide a magic solution. This is your silver bullet. Of course, such a thing doesn't exist. Maybe it does, and it's an industry-wide change, but it's unlikely that one can find some supplier who will charge a fortune for a piece of magic which will transform the business in that sort of a way. So I agree.
I think any process can be automated. We have a problem when we automate a lot of processes in a chain because it's working fine unless the situation is stable and it goes the way it should go. But when someone or some event happens which is not going in line, or there can be an errors when to one filter some occasional client or trade applied for that specific filter which shouldn't be there, but by some coincidences it just fits these rules and filters, there we face a problem in a situation. And until this is sorted out, we have to leave some part for the main force and for the man control. Because 100% automation, unfortunately, I think even the market is not so ready for it yet, because we have like a lot of clients and some of them prefer to do everything manually to check themselves, and some of them trust 100% to the software, to the machines. Like it depends on how much the company and the person trusts the technology as well.
I would like just to sum up, and I think that the automation of AIs and machine learning, I would not say it's like far future, because like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I would like to give the example of, let's say, AlphaGo. It's like the algorithm developed by DeepMind, the company bought recently by Google. Every expert was laughing about that no AI system or automated system can beat the human in the very old Chinese game. It's like 2 months ago it turned out that the AlphaGo just crushed all the key players on the market. And then still that the same algorithm, AlphaGo, can be implemented both for not only playing chess, but Go game, but also chess and other strategic game. This is the same algorithm. So I would say that the same algorithm working for the e-commerce, selling shoes or selling FX business or selling, I don't know, some perfumes or any other things can be implemented here. So I think the change is a little bit closer than we think, and we have to have our eyes open how and when we should utilize that software. Yeah? So this is that strategic thinking that should be like the broker should concern about and think about how to use those systems, which are already available, but the first one which will start using it will be the most efficient on the market, I would say, because there are certain fields in which we can be more cost efficient using those systems.
So maybe we can get that AlphaGo algorithm to trade the markets for the broker clients, no?
I wasn't thinking of...
Then the volumes should be higher.
Yeah, of course, I wasn't thinking of trading, but still, that might be the next winner on the market. But I was thinking rather of optimizing processing inside the brokerage house.
Sure. So as technology providers, you have access to a sizable chunk of data. What have you seen which is specific to the Asian region when you look at your data? Anyone take the lead on this?
Now in Asia, I think we should separate Asia and China mainland, because Southeast Asia is like even between South Korea, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Indonesia, China, then Japan, it's all different markets and they all have different interests. And when we say Southeast Asia, I think the reason why we are like stuck a little bit for a second, because you can't take it as one. It's very, very different. And here in Hong Kong, for me, this expo unites not only Asian market, but we see a lot of European companies as well that come in here, and they already have connections with some countries. If we talk about Japan, it's of course about cryptos. It's everyone knows that, and they have the biggest amount of exchanges, and they will give more license this year, and they already gave some. South Korea have its own very internal way how to grow. China mainland, we see from our side that they are more interested in other alternative instruments than Forex. It's more about stocks, it's more about bonds, it's more about metals rather than FX, and they are willing to invest in especially gold is the favorite product.
Okay.
Well, as a global trend which is confirmed in Asia, everybody is going mobile. The specifics of Asia is the consumption of the various information services through alternative ways, such as WeChat or other messengers. But the global trend is everybody is going mobile. I agree with Albina that non-FX instruments there is a growing demand for them. Obviously, we witnessed the hype for cryptos too, apart from the indices, commodities, and stocks. Yeah.
Paul?
I'd agree with you on the mobile point. This is the region in which we have clients who are mobile only or mobile centric. They, again, going back to my same point, they make the entire engagement with the client on that channel. In addition, maybe I'm a bit cheeky, but we see flow from, it's not ours, obviously we're processing it for our customers, in regions where the regulation is either not working or it's not working very well. And we see things being traded, which is surprising out here. Like cryptos are not supposed to be traded on the mainland. Doesn't seem to be stopping it.
Michael?
For sure, I agree that mobile, this is the main point. So that's why in our company we were expanding the teams, developing mobiles. We recently also released like new mobile platforms based on the latest technology. So yeah, for sure this is it. The instruments I think are being more and more diversified, from FX, later on cryptos, to right now stocks and ETFs as well. So diversification, to be honest, the Asian people are rediscovering, I would say, that the markets. And then they would like to have also in their portfolios less riskier instruments. So this is it. And from the broker's perspective, yeah, the brokers are looking for the platforms that are delivering also the information and the data about their clients. Yeah, so the behavior on the platform, what the clients were analyzing, what charts. So I think that the brokers from Asia are looking for the platforms that are delivering certain information about the behavior of their clients to analyze it. Maybe this is the first step of using those AIs, what I previously mentioned. And so I think from our perspective, technology providers, we should focus on what data we can deliver to the clients to make efficient analysis for the guys, yes. And to finish up, of course, mobile. And the analytics on the mobile platform as well, delivered to the brokers.
Okay, so I think that we have some questions from the screen. Do we? There is. I'll start with the third question, which is about outsourcing. What are the trends that you guys are seeing? Obviously, there are two specific countries mentioned here, but are you outsourcing, and where and how much?
It's a funny one, because that could always be made for us. We are actually operating in those two countries, so people outsource to us. This is a global industry. If you are a broker and you need one IT person, I would not outsource that to India or to Ukraine or to anywhere else, because you probably need them very close to you. Maybe they're not only working for you, maybe they're nearby. Outsourcing has a place for larger corporations. We don't see ourselves as an outsourcer, because an outsourcer is almost like you give a piece of the business process to them. But we see us as a partner. We're providing a product and a service which work together. So I'm actually a little dubious about outsourcing in total, personally. Don't really believe in it.
I think for us it's like we have been lucky having our companies in Russia, in St. Petersburg. We have like 4 or 6 universities with developers, which winning every year the championship in US, organized by IBM. Yeah, so we don't outsource in these countries because we are living in the heaven of developers, I believe.
Okay.
But
I would say the same about Poland. But still, I do agree that Russian, Ukrainians, Belarusian, Polish developers are quite well educated and the quality is quite high. So I do recommend to outsource to these countries.
Okay.
yeah, it's actually very good because even our technical support team, which are not developers, they're writing the scripts and they're writing the small tools to automate the processes. That's very helpful. And there is a reason why those countries are mentioned here, because you have a very good programmers and bright brains in that countries. That's the reason why you go there.
Well, I guess there are 2 parts of this question. Like to answer the first one, well, obviously we have multiple R&D centers, excluding Russia. We have Bulgaria, we have Portugal, we have Germany. Well, we are happy with those locations and talents pools which are based there. But the real question is, should you outsource or not? And this is a much more trickier question, and it doesn't depend on the actual location. You should evaluate a magnitude of parameters, the expertise of the vendor, what's the SLA, what's the domain knowledge, and so on and so forth. Way before you start talking about the cost, and what Paul mentioned, whether it's some core technology or a know-how which you want to keep secret, whether you want this thing to be constantly updated and you have to have a shortest possible time to market. It all affects the decision whether or not you go with an external vendor. Thanks.
Okay. So the elephant in the room question says that there hasn't been much innovation in the Forex market lately, and technology seems to have become a commodity. So what do you think will be the next thing to steer the market? I'll combine this question with the above one, which touches on the MT4 trading platform and its direction. So what do you guys think? What is the product that can drive this industry into a new era?
Let me try. Start. Before we go to the platforms, right? I disagree that there is not much innovation going on. If you check the booth out there, you see that AI word is mentioned on every second booth out there. Well, some of them pretend that they are doing AI, some of them actually do, and this is actually a disruptive innovation which will reshape the market completely and the way the brokers do business too. So there is a lot of things going on, and it's just we haven't faced yet the the victory of it, right? But there is a lot under the hood which is going on.
Okay, curious to see what comes out of the hood. But Paul, what do you think?
There definitely hasn't been a lot of innovation at the top end in the top question. Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, that's what the traders have been used to. But what we're seeing, in my view, is with the millennial generation, the mobile first generation, there's a new generation of traders coming up. Okay, maybe the volume's not very high from them yet. They're still learning. There's an opportunity to work with them, to give them educational tools, to teach them what they can do. They are not going to be interested in trading from the desktop. They won't have one, probably. They are going to be interested in maybe they can do their algos in the cloud. Maybe they can work with some AI service which will give they will give it parameters and it will make the trades on their behalf. Maybe they're not interested in coding an EA. So it's a new market, it's a new opportunity. And right now, I sense that there's a bit of a low going on, but as we come out of that, there's going to be new people, new traders, a new generation. They'll be interested in different things, and they can use different tools. They won't be tied to the old ones.
Okay, so when is AI going to become the third layer above the human cortex?
The rise of the machines.
I'm just joking, but you can go ahead and add your points about this
I would
question,
say
Albina
that,
and Michael.
yeah, that technology we have innovative technology, but we don't have innovative product yet, because we see the different markets, we see the changes, and not all the technology became innovation. We don't know how all the virtual, like 3 years ago, we had a lot of booths with virtual reality and adaptive reality. Where are they now? Will they actually go to the gaming industry? Like, will that be a big thing? Because that was supposed to be a very big, but maybe the market is not ready yet. So we have a lot of technology, but we need to form it to the product. And that not only depends on the technology providers, that depends on how the end client reacts. And that's why it takes so much time to adapt it to the product.
It's just that Trump got elected and real reality became more interesting than virtual reality.
I would just to also sum up, I think a lot is being done in terms of the technology, especially in a guys that would like to catch up with the MT4, which is of course dominating the market nowadays. I think this is the time of a little bit of change, because still the Windows Server will be stopped being supported. So the MT4 servers might have some problems there, or some brokers might have the problems with not supported Windows Server on which MT4s are being set. So that might be the problem. That might be the crucial point. And I think a lot of it is being done, but maybe not from the perspective of the client, but from the architecture of the systems that are being provided. Is the completely new tools are being provided for the brokers. Maybe it's not seen from the first layer, but the brokers from the new system can get competitive advantage, of course. New also mobile platforms based on new technology, like for example we have developed iOS mobile platforms based on Swift, so Android on Kotlin, so the latest technologies which provide seamless usability of mobile platforms, is the data efficiency, the energy efficiency. So a lot of this being done, of course step by step. This is the change for the retail client, but bigger steps are being seen from the perspective of institutional client and from the brokers. So I wouldn't agree that there is no change. I think there are a lot of it being done in terms of technology, especially that we've seen a lot of the guys and newcomers on the market. So I think we've got huge changes.
Okay, Paul?
Yep. In a time of generational change, there's a lot of solutions looking for a problem. And this is what you were talking about, I was talking about. There's a lot of new technology out there, but the businesses are not really kind of making something new with it. The title of this panel is Searching for the Silver Bullet? And in my view, the real answer here is that the success will come not from businesses who find that silver bullet, but they're the businesses that reorganize themselves to become the silver bullet. So it's not that they're just using technology, they're changing their business process, they're changing as the millennial culture evolves and the online culture evolves, they're changing their approach to business and delivering a product or a set of services which are relevant to these new users using technology. It's not about the technology, it's about how you use it.
Okay, well, we might get a definitive answer to this question in our next panel, which is about cryptocurrencies. Thank you very much for your time, and
Thank you everyone for your questions.
Thank you.